Welcome! Today we're going to go behind the walls and under the floors to take a look at the complex world of plumbing that keeps your home running. You know, it's a world you pretty much never see, but one you absolutely depend on every single day. So when you think about the biggest threats to your home, what comes to mind? Probably big stuff, right? Storms, fires, a tree falling on the roof. But honestly, some of the most destructive and expensive dangers are completely silent and totally invisible. Yeah, these threats are lurking in your home's hidden plumbing network. And to really get a grip on how this invisible system works and, more importantly, how it fails, we're going to zero in on the unique challenges they face in one very specific place, Humble, Texas. Okay, let's dive right in. The best way to think about your home's plumbing is like its circulatory system, right? It's this vital network bringing in fresh water and getting rid of waste. But here's the thing. Unlike our bodies, this system is under constant attack from powerful forces you probably never even think about.
And in a place like Humble, which is just northeast of Houston, the local environment itself wages this relentless war on that hidden infrastructure. It's really the perfect case study for the kinds of challenges modern plumbing has to deal with.
First up, you've got the very ground the house is built on. Humble sits on what's called expansive clay soil, and it acts just like a sponge. It swells up when it rains hard, and then it shrinks and contracts during those long, dry Texas summers. All that movement puts a ton of stress on the underground water and sewer lines, which leads to cracks, breaks, and eventually, total failure. Next, there's the air itself. That humid subtropical climate means moisture is just a constant. This speeds up corrosion like you wouldn't believe, especially in older galvanized steel pipes. It literally eats them away from the outside. And all that dampness, it's the perfect breeding ground for mold to grow around any tiny little leak you don't even know is there. And finally, there's just the simple factor of time. A lot of the homes in that area, especially the ones built from the 60s through the 80s, still have their original cast iron drain lines. And after decades of work, these pipes are just, they're tired. They're corroding from the inside out, leading to constant backups and slow drains right before they collapse for good. So when you mix that shifting soil, the constant humidity, and those aging pipes, you get a pretty predictable set of problems. You've got slab leaks from pipes cracking under the foundation, corroded pipes causing terrible water pressure, tree roots busting into sewer lines looking for water. These aren't just random accidents. They're a direct result of the environment. So, how in the world do you fight these invisible threats? Let me tell you, it's not about having a wrench and some duct tape. Fighting a hidden enemy requires a very, very specific kind of modern expertise. Now, this slide is fascinating because it shows a huge leap in technology. The old way of finding a leak under your floor was basically, guesswork. You start breaking up the concrete with a sledgehammer and just hope you get lucky. But a modern pro? They use non-invasive tools like infrared cameras and acoustic sensors to pinpoint the exact spot of the leak. That saves homeowners from massive demolition and restoration costs. It's a total game changer. A real professional's toolkit is so much more than just hardware. We're talking a fully stocked truck so repairs can happen in one trip. It's having licensed master plumbers on the complex jobs, not just apprentices. And, this is crucial, it's deep local knowledge. Knowing which neighborhoods have certain types of pipes, understanding the soil, and always training on the latest techniques. Okay, so let's walk through the actual process. Let's see how an expert can turn a potential disaster, like a burst pipe in the middle of the night, into a managed, transparent solution that takes away all that fear and uncertainty. And this, right here, shows a process that's just built on clarity. It starts with a real person answering the phone, not a robot. Then a technician comes out, actually inspects the issue, explains your options clearly, and gives you a firm price before they start any work. No surprise charges. Then the repair gets done, it gets tested, and it's backed by a warranty. It's all about building trust from start to finish. So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, the crucial point is that this isn't just about fixing a dripping faucet. It's about protecting your single biggest asset, your home. If you neglect these hidden systems, you're putting that entire investment at risk. This is exactly why professional work follows strict regulations, like the International Plumbing Code. These codes aren't just red tape. They're designed to protect public health by making sure we have clean water and safe drainage. In a place like Harris County, getting a permit for a major job, like replacing a water heater, ensures the work is done correctly. It protects your family's health and your home's value.
The best way to protect that investment is to be proactive, not reactive.
Scheduled maintenance, like getting your drains cleaned regularly or doing a camera inspection of your sewer line, can catch those small developing issues before they become catastrophes. The cost of prevention is a tiny, tiny fraction of an emergency repair, and the thousands of dollars in water damage that can come with it.
Which brings us to the final and most important question. In a battle against an invisible enemy that's working 24/7 to undermine your home, how do you actually defend it? Well, it really comes down to a fundamental shift in how we think about our homes.
The answer is surprisingly simple. You fight an invisible enemy with knowledge. By understanding the complex network that's operating just out of sight, you shift from just reacting to a crisis to proactively protecting your investment. So the real question isn't if your home is under attack, but whether you're prepared to see the unseen.